Looks like Paul's drawing Darkwing Duck tomorrow for Inktober.
Oh, okay. Nice. Is he doing a live stream or just
No? He just posts a preview image
silhouette of it.
Oh, a sketch.
Yeah,
you can kind of tell what he's doing. Okay, Twitch is live.
YouTube, Facebook is live.
Okay, yeah, see Facebook and then YouTube. Is live. And I just remembered one last thing. My phone is on the other side of the room charging.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you I did not put it on silent. Okay, hi guys. This is Drew.
What's up? This is Jacob.
And today we're reviewing our final movie for Halloween month, The Book of Life.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 years later,
yeah,
than when we originally announced.
Yeah, exactly.
We were reviewing this film.
Yeah, this was an interesting one because we had this on the docket. Hey, Stevie.
Hey, Stevie.
We had this one on the docket for, oh gosh,
it was
like 3 years ago.
You know what? I'm going to look real quick.
Okay.
Because I can tell you how it was the same year we did Monsters Incorporated.
Right.
Because Monsters Incorporated was the episode right before we were going to do this.
Yeah. And then we had it on the docket.
And then in the middle of the episode, for the Monsters Incorporated episode, we announced what we were going to be reviewing next.
Yeah. And
I said, because I guess it was on my mind.
Yeah. Coraline.
You agreed with me.
Yes.
Neither one of us questioned it through the rest of the week, recording the next episode till it got posted. And I happened to go back through Facebook and go, oh, crap. That's not what we were supposed to review.
Wasn't the episode.
So we didn't review that film.
Yeah.
This was 2 or 3 years ago because it would have been 2021, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a while to back up to it. What am I going this way for? If I go through my side of it instead of the y'all's side of it, you'll probably find this a lot faster.
Probably.
With a date. Yeah, except that password's not going to work. Because I had to change it.
That was a loud click clack.
You know how this thing does sometimes.
Yes. It does the clicky clack.
Update password. Thank you.
That's a good thing.
Episodes. Episode list. Search. Coraline.
Yes.
Not new episode. Silly thing. Return. Oh, there it is. 2020, actually. This was from our second year that we were originally supposed to do this, and it took us till 2023. So, yeah. Ain't that fun?
Yeah.
Even the same week.
Mm-hmm.
Because we released this on the 24th, and I was a lot faster at actually putting episodes out.
Yeah.
Well, just for the timetable.
Yeah, it happens.
I have gotten in the habit now that now that we started putting the album art on there, and it takes you a little while to get it drawn. That I've gotten in the habit of waiting a week until I even start editing the episode.
So true, because I was thinking about trying to figure out what kind of shenanigans I would draw for this episode. I'm like,
for Book of Life.
Yeah, Book of Life. I'm like, that is interesting.
I almost forgot until yesterday because I got the episode edited for Young Frankenstein.
Yes.
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought was, okay, got that done. It's ready for whenever Jacob gets me the artwork. Yesterday, before you showed up at a
Bible study,
I remembered, oh yeah, I do the artwork for Plus episodes.
Yes.
So Jacob doesn't have to do anything for Young Frankenstein. I've got to make something up.
Yep.
Well, I got time to work on it. That episode was published by about 30 minutes ago, by the way.
I saw that. Let's see.
It took me way too long to copy around Dr. Frankenstein and his monster there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Frankenstein.
yeah. Franklin. Well, at this point in the movie, he is Frankenstein.
Yes, he is Frankenstein.
He has
very loudly proclaims that he is a Frankenstein.
Yes. My name is Frankenstein. Anyway, then we go to putting on the Ritz. Anyway. So yeah, we will be getting started soon on Book of Life. Some interesting connections here.
Really?
For Kingdom Hearts, by the way. I did not go to Smash Brothers, even though I probably could have.
Really? Huh.
You want to know why I didn't go to Smash Brothers?
Huh.
Because by the time I had 4 things and Smash Brothers hadn't come up, I decided, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll just take the rest of the Kingdom Hearts ones and go with that. So yeah.
Got it.
So you ready to start this thing?
Yeah, let's just. Well, I would wait a couple minutes to see if our audience comes in a little bit more. Like obviously Stevie's in the chat. See if anybody comes in at any point, and then we can have a more livelier audience. I'm not saying that Stevie's not lively at all. He's very lively. But what I'm saying is to let the chat fill up a little bit more and then get started.
So how many minutes after the live stream starts do you want to actually go live?
In a few minutes.
I'm just saying because Stevie, I think technically is not even in there anymore because our view is back down to 0.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Thanks, Stevie. Anyways, yeah, let's just get started. All right, fine then. You're like still my thunder.
I get what you're saying, but at the
Yes.
same time, they'll come in when they come in. We
That
can't
is true.
force people.
That is true.
Yeah, let's just get started.
Okay.
Let's.
The Cel Cast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cel Cast. Joining me today is a man who, well, he just wants to sing. Welcome, Jacob.
La, 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 la.
But now you have to fight a bull.
Right. Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host. A man who... Why did you take that medal from that shady dude? Why? Welcome through.
I like the color green.
Apparently.
I mean, yeah, according to Disney, it's the color of evil, but that's what the Disney film. I thought I was good.
You thought wrong, my friend. Wrong!
Well, technically, I was fine. Nobody actually got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And everything came out fine in the wash. I mean, nobody was even... Well, except for that one dude, but he didn't come into the last act anyway, and nobody cares.
Sure, but he was reviled throughout, or reviled and revered? Am I saying that right?
Yes, but that's just because
Revered.
he wanted the medal.
Yeah.
Technically, that's not my fault. It's the other guy's fault for having it. Okay, I have some complaints later on. We'll get to that.
Oh yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
Oh wow.
You want to
be the story?
This is going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and just jump into the spoiler-free section. Why don't we?
Certified fresh and spoiler-free.
This is my first viewing of this film.
Okay.
I don't know why, but when this was I know why. This came out the same year Coco did.
Yes, it did.
And Pixar, I'm sorry, is going to trump the same studio that brought us Norm of the North later on.
You're not kidding.
I did not realize this was the same studio that made this film until about 2 minutes into it, and I see the Real FX logo and I went, "Oh crap! Did we do this a month late? Is this worse than I think it's going to be?" Thankfully not.
Yeah, true.
But I did find out one interesting thing. that company's from Dallas.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's close to us.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
2 hour ballpark.
Exactly. But yeah, I had not seen this before. I can tell you that to some degree, part of the reason is the art style initially threw me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because I couldn't make out what I was looking at, if that makes sense.
Fair.
I just thought, wow, this is a really weird art style for
Agreed.
But I don't know. This was a rather decent film. It's not my favorite. I think Coco still beats it. But
yeah, I would agree Coco is better.
Especially when you're talking about, Day of the Dead movies, which
Mhm.
there's not that many of.
No, there's not.
But for animated Day of the Dead movies, I think Coco trumps this one. But for what this is, it's not bad.
No.
It's a fairly decent film, and I can understand why people would like it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
This is my second viewing. I picked this movie up at a Walmart Black Friday deal when they did those things back in, I want to say 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched. I didn't watch it until.
Wait, you didn't even have it in 2020.
No,
when you were supposed to
no. My mistake.
That's a fun fact, folks. We didn't say this. We said this in the pre-show, but I'll bring it up here. We were actually supposed to review this back in 2020.
That is true. Well, let me rephrase what I was trying to say before.
Go ahead.
So I had picked this up probably 2019, 2020. Could I have picked it up in 2020 during the COVID?
No, you'd have to have picked it up in 2019.
Yeah, this one in 2019.
I think I remembered you saying you had this.
Yes, I did.
So it would at least have to be 2019 at the latest.
Yeah, it was 2019.
I have no doubt you picked it up at a Black Friday thing. And I know they were still doing it then.
Yeah. Nowadays we're like, good luck trying to find a film on Black Friday.
COVID killed a lot of things.
That is true.
Some things got killed and used COVID as an excuse for that killing.
True.
But either way.
Anyways, so I watched this movie during a marathon of films, trying to watch 100 films in a year that I had picked up on a challenge to be like, you know what, this sounds like a good idea.
It was your brother's challenge.
Yeah, it was my brother's challenge, and I thought it was a very good idea. And be like,
now we're in the middle of another of your brother's challenges for twice as many. And considering I didn't win the 100, I doubt I'm going to make the 200.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, I have a ton of films I still need to watch, and I get distracted very easily. So this is going to be an interesting challenge. Either or. So I remember watching this for the challenge and kind of be like enjoying it, but it's almost forgetful kind of a film.
Mm-hmm.
And on the second viewing,
it's got a bit of cotton candiness to it.
It does.
If you remember my description of that from back around Trolls.
Yes. So I watched it again for the review here, and it's still got more of the, like you said, more of that cotton candy kind of feel of a film.
Mm-hmm. Dissolves in your mouth, even though you don't dislike it.
Yeah, true. Very true. Overall, it's a well done film. I would not say it's one of those films that you absolutely have to go watch, but I would recommend going and watching it because it is produced by Guillermo del Toro, who's
my neighbor Guillermo del Toro.
Right.
We didn't plan a Del Toro movie right before Miyazaki one.
Yes.
Intentionally.
No. But it is enjoyable. It is a very credible film. It's very well done kind of film. It does have its flaws like any other film, but overall it is recommendable. It's just not one of my favorites, and if we have to go back and review this film at some point, I will, but I'm not going to put this on rewind. I'm not going to put this on a
rewatch list.
A rewatch list. Yes.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and get into the spoiler-filled section then? Why don't we? The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film The Book of Life. Listener discretion is advised. The Book of Life was written and directed by, I'm assuming it's Jorge. Since it's Hispanic.
Yeah, Jorge.
Jorge R. Gutierrez. And it was also written by Doug Landell. And as you said, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it was produced by Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
Cast includes Diego Luna as Manolo, who played Cassian Andor in Rogue One.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
and in the Andor television show
okay.
on
Gotcha.
Disney Plus.
Gotcha.
Zoe Saldana as
Mm.
Maria, and of course she's Gamora in the MCU, and Uhura in the Abrams verse Star Trek films,
Mhm.
and she is the female blue Smurf odd
Avatar.
I forgot. I don't know her name. I don't even remember what that race is called. That's literally where I went. The female blue Smurf.
Female blue Smurf. Clip that.
Channing Tatum as Joaquin, and he was Superman in the Lego Batman movie.
Yes, he was.
Ron Perlman. Mm. Ron Perlman as Zabalba,
Mhm.
and he was Hellboy in Hellboy.
Yeah, and a lot of other really, really good
And-
films.
Pretty much any film in which there is a rather tall, strong man wearing prosthetic makeup, it's probably Ron Perlman.
Yeah, in some capacity.
Many cases.
Many cases.
Christina Applegate played Mary Beth, the
Mhm.
tour guide,
Mhm.
and she was Kelly Bundy in Married with Children.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Ice Cube played the Candlemaker, and he was Superfly in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Which we recently did a reaction to, so go check
Mhm.
that out.
Kate Del Castillo played La Muerta, and I had a hard time finding English stuff that she's been in besides this film,
Yeah.
so I had to go with one of her. I'm assuming must be a Mexican soap opera.
Okay.
She played a character named Teresa Menorca in La Reina del Sur, and she had a lot of that. She was in a lot of those episodes.
Wow. Okay.
According to IMDb.
Gotcha.
For what that's worth. Hector Elizondo played Carlos Sanchez, and he was the character Joe in The Princess Diaries.
Ah.
The one that's helping. What is her name? That plays the main girl in that
In what?
Princess Diaries.
Oh. Now I'm totally.
She's not Keira Knightley or Padme Amidala.
Oh,
But she's in that trifecta of girls that became popular around the same time, and I confused them all.
There's Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley,
There's Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, thank you. And what is this one's name?
Oh my gosh, I'm
Either way,
yes,
her and Mary Poppins that plays her aunt or her grandma.
yeah.
It's their
Oh!
assistant, that guy,
Oh crap! Now you
Joe.
Yeah, okay.
His name is Joe in that movie.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Last but
I'm curious. Continue.
go ahead. Dan Navarro played Chakal, our villain in this.
Mm.
And he played Viking leader Sven in Playmobil the movie. I had a hard time finding stuff for him too. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, I'll go with Playmobil the movie. It was bad from my understanding. But it's
I
a weird thing.
gotcha. Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, thank you. I couldn't remember Anne Hathaway.
Julia Andrews.
Julia Andrews is the one I feel worse for. But moving on. I want you to guess how many Kingdom Hearts connections we have.
Oh, let's see. This movie came out
Even though I may have accidentally given it away in the pre-show.
somewhat. It came out 2014. I would probably you said 4 earlier.
Yeah,
You said 4. I'm gonna
it is 4.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Because I screwed that up.
You gave me a context clue to cling on to. You gave me a bone to chew on.
Yeah. Anyway. Cheech Marin, aka the Cheech of Cheech and Chong,
Mm-hmm.
in this movie played Pancho Rodriguez, one of the musicians.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, in Kingdom Hearts, he was Bonsai.
Bonsai.
Specifically, Kingdom Hearts 2, where the hyena showed up.
Oh, okay.
Carlo-
That's bonsai.
Yeah, that Bonsai.
Gotcha.
Carlos Alazarqui, probably saying that name wrong. He plays General Posada, aka Maria's dad,
Yeah.
and Dolly, and Chewie, aka the pig, in this movie.
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
Chewy.
And he was Mike Wazowski in Kingdom Hearts.
Hmm.
So we brought him up recently.
Mike Wazowski.
And it's time to kill a bot.
What in the world?
Somebody trying to sell views.
Oh.
Okay, bring me back. Randy Crenshaw was the singing voice in this for Skeleton Jorge,
Oh, okay.
the one that wanted to be an opera singer.
Yes.
And he was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts. And this one's a fun one. Eva Bella.
Okay.
She was additional voices in this. However, due to the rushed nature of the Kingdom Hearts 3 level in Kingdom Hearts 3 of Frozen, she gets to reappear as the archive audio of young Elsa.
Oh,
in Kingdom Hearts.
Nice.
And I say that because the Frozen level of Kingdom Hearts was very obviously not the original idea for that level.
Okay.
And Disney probably said, we can't do that. Except it would have been so much better. Either way, that's the end of my Kingdom Hearts connections. What do we got in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. IMDb, it is a 7.2 out of 10. For watching availability, it's available on Max. As Drew fixes my microphone, thank you very much.
Making sure they can hear you.
Thank you very much. Production was 20th century. 20th century. Yeah. I'm waiting for you to edit that out. Thank you. Production was 20th Century Fox Animation, now 20th Century Studios Animation. If it still exists at all, I don't know.
20th Century Studios does exist, but 20th Century Animation, or 20th Century Fox Animation, as they called it, doesn't.
Okay, that's what
it got merged into one of the Walt Disney Animation Studios.
That's what I thought.
Which is why we no longer have Blue Sky.
Yeah. Real FX Animation Studios and Chatron. Am I pronouncing them right? Distributed by 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios. Release date October 17th, 2014. Now going into the box office, it had an estimated budget of $50 million. Its US and Canada opening weekend was, if I'm reading this right, $17 million on October 19th, 2014. Its US gross in Canada was $50.1 million, and its international gross was $99.7 million. Home release for this film, The Book of Life, was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and Blu-ray 3D back in the day when that was a thing, on January 27th, 2015 by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. The special edition included a 3-minute short animated feature entitled The Adventures of Chewie, not to be confused with a Wookiee. Or a co-pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, the bacon turned pet.
The bacon turned pet. That's a good one. The film currently is streaming on Disney Plus. Oh, okay. I had to I was like, wait. Be like, it's no longer there, as far as I understand.
It was at one point,
yes,
but it's fallen off because there were probably contract deals with HBO.
Yeah, there is.
Anyway.
Yeah. The film was on Disney Plus on February 2021, but is currently on Max. Sequels. There actually was talks and ideas of doing sequels.
What would it be called? The Book of Death?
No. No. All right, so you might need to help me with pronunciations, as I have terrible pronunciations. Director, the director of this film,
Jorge R. Gutierrez.
Thank you. Revealed in an interview that one of the ideas for the next chapters in the story involved Joaquin and his relationship with his father. To quote, I had I had always imagined the first film being about Manolo. Am I saying that right?
Manolo.
Manolo, about being Manolo. The second film being about Joaquin, and the third film being about Maria. I've always considered it as a trilogy. In June 2017, Gutierrez? Was that right?
Gutierrez.
Thank you.
I'm
Gutierrez.
assuming I'm pronouncing Gutierrez correctly.
Yeah, Gutierrez.
Admittedly, I'm basing it off of a character in Freakazoid that was played by Ricardo Montalban, who they called him Gutierrez instead of Khan.
Oh, okay.
Because he was basically Khan.
Gotcha. Gutierrez and Real FX Animation announced the development on a sequel that began, however, as of June 2019. Gutierrez clarified on Twitter, now X, that there is currently no plans for a sequel. So that's all I have for info and stuff.
All right. Jumping into the summary. Mary Beth, a museum tour guide, takes a group of school detention students on a secret museum tour, telling them the story of a Mexican town called San Angel from the Book of Life, which holds every story in the world. On the Day of the Dead, La Muerta, ruler of the land of the remembered, and Xibalba, ruler of the land of the forgotten, sees children Manolo Sanchez and Joaquin Mondragon competing for the love of Maria Posada. And if I mispronounced any of those names incorrectly, my apologies. They strike a wager. If Maria ends up marrying Manolo, Xibalba will no longer interfere in mortal affairs. But if she marries Joaquin, La Muerta and Xibalba will switch realms. However, Xibalba cheats by giving Joaquin the Medal of Everlasting Life, which grants the wearer invincibility. Maria is sent to Spain to become a lady after freeing pigs destined for slaughter. Years later, when Maria returns to San Angel, Joaquin has become a military hero with the medal's aid, and Manolo's father has trained him as a bullfighter in their family tradition, though his real dream is to be a musician. That sounds familiar. Just saying.
Yeah, a lot of parallels.
Change out bullfighter for shoemaker. But anyway, that's beside the point. And this was unintentional too.
Yeah, unintentional.
No, really, it probably was.
I agree with you. It probably was unintentional.
Yeah. At Manolo's first bullfight, he defeats the bull but refuses to kill it, angering Carlos and the crowd, but impressing Maria. That night, Maria is pressured by her father and San Angel's mayor, General Ramiro Posada, to marry Joaquin, so he stays in San Angel and therefore protects the town from the bandit king Chacal. But Maria is reluctant. She instead professes her mutual love for Manolo before dawn, but they are interrupted when Xibalba sends his dual-headed snake staff, which bites her and sends her into a coma. Devastated by Maria's apparent death, Manolo allows Xibalba to kill him, believing he will be reunited with Maria in death. In the land of the remembered, Manolo reunites with his mother and his ancestral family. They travel to La Muerta's castle, discovering Xibalba, now the ruler of the realm, who explains the bet and smugly reveals that Maria didn't die because she was only bitten once and therefore survived. However, Manolo was bitten twice and died. Furious but determined to return to Maria, Manolo travels to the Cave of Souls to reach La Muerta. Inside, he meets the Candlemaker, the overseer of mortal lives, and the Book of Life's keeper. The Candlemaker sees that Manolo's story in the Book of Life is blank and can be rewritten by himself, so he takes them to the land of the forgotten. They find La Muerta at Xibalba's castle and expose his cheating. Furious, La Muerta lectures Xibalba before offering a new wager at Manolo's request. Manolo's life will be returned if he completes a challenge of Xibalba's choosing, but if he fails, he will be forgotten and Xibalba will keep both realms. Xibalba sets Manolo against a giant bull skeleton made from the skeletons of every bull slain by the Sanchez family, believing that to be his greatest fear. Meanwhile, Maria awakens from her coma, learning of Manolo's death, and reluctantly accepts Joaquin's proposal. The wedding is interrupted by Chacal, who leads his army to San Angel to find the medal, which was previously his. Chacal kills Carlos, who arrives in the land of the remembered, in time to see Manolo's fight. Manolo, realizing his fear is actually of being himself, refuses to fight and instead sings an apology to the bull, appeasing it and touching the hearts of everyone present, including Xibalba and Carlos. Impressed, the deities resurrect Manolo and send him and his family to San Angel to protect the town. Manolo is knocked unconscious when Chacal destructs himself, but is protected by the medal, which Joaquin had slipped him earlier. Joaquin returns it to Zabalba. I keep wanting to say Sebulba from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. And resolves to be a true hero. While Manolo and Maria are happily married as Zabalba and La Muerta reconcile. In the present, Mary Beth finishes the story and the amazed children leave the museum. Mary Beth and a security guard reveal themselves to be La Muerta and Zabalba in disguise. The Candlemaker appears and encourages the audience to write their own story. Getting into the trivia for this one. Diego Luna does the dialogue for both the English and Spanish dubbing versions of the film.
Impressive.
Zabalba is the name of the Mayan underworld. The swirl in Manolo's hair is a tribute to the swirled hill from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
One of Jorge R. Gutierrez's favorite films.
Nice.
In the Spanish dubbing of the movie, La Muerta is called La Catarina. This is obviously Posada's Katrina. Sorry, yeah, it's Katrina, not Katarina. A popular iconic skeletal lady that has become associated with the festivities of Dia de Muertos. Her main attribute is a gorgeous hat. In the movie, the modern Mexican icon, La Catrina, and the classic icon, Lady Death, are fused in a single role of the ancient Mayan goddess of death, ruling over one of the lands of the dead. The original songs, I Love You Too Much and the Apology Song, were co-written by Paul Williams.
Really?
According to director Jorge R. Gutierrez, when he approached Williams, the composer assumed it was because he had co-written the Oscar-nominated Rainbow Connection for the Muppet movie in 1979. And was surprised to find that it was because of Gutierrez's love for Williams's rock musical Phantom of the Paradise 1974, which I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
When Sasha tells Mary Beth that the story can't end like this, Mary Beth replies that this is not the end. In the Portuguese and French audio, the line is translated as death is not the end. Keeping with the plot and theme of the movie.
So kind of in the same thread, it'd be like when we get to our TAS episode of X-Men. Yeah, we get a similar thing, but it's much worse.
Near the end of the film, the Candlemaker, voiced by Ice Cube, says, "Today was a good day of the dead." Today Was a Good Day was the title of an Ice Cube song. At one point, Skeleton Luis shouts, "I immediately regret this decision," while entering the land of the forgotten. Christina Applegate, Mary Beth, the tour guide, worked with Will Ferrell in Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Burgundy loudly whispers this exact line after entering a pit full of bears.
Okay.
And that's the end of my trivia for this.
Wow.
What's your first like for this film?
My first like would be the style of the film, the style in which they went for, because they're going to most likely this is coming from the famous director Guillermo del Toro. Like he
was the producer for this anyway.
He's producer, but also he had a hand in like designing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, the design of it's very unique. It's very different. It's got this more like marionette kind of characters and just more like puppets in a way, like puppet characters. Like they're being moved by strings, but they're not. They've got their own life behind them. That's what I enjoy most about it, because it has this very unique style. It's different from other films, and I just really enjoy that. The artistic direction in the character design and the styling of the characters. I really enjoyed that.
We are of the same mind, actually.
Okay.
Because, yeah, my first like is also the character design, though specifically I'm going to say of the story aspects of it. The modern day wraparound story.
Yes.
I have other issues with that art style.
I got you.
But for the main part of the story itself, I actually like the you said marionette. I think of it more as wood toy design.
Okay, fair enough.
Because they are made of wood, and there's even one part where you can see is it Carlos that plays Manelo's dad?
I think so.
Yeah, his design, his on his shoulder, you can see where part of the wood is chipped off.
Yeah,
which is like, okay, that's a cool little detail you didn't have to do.
Yeah,
and of course that's gone when he's in the land of the remembered or forgotten or whatever, the dead, the land of the dead, we'll say.
Land of the
I don't remember which part of the land of the dead they were in.
Yeah, the land of the forgotten.
They were. I think they were in the land of the forgotten, but I wasn't sure yet. Which honestly, if you stop and think about it, even though I understand why he transported where his family was,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't make a lot of sense because he would be remembered.
Well, no. Like, hold on, because they go to the land of the forgotten. They go to the land of,
which is, as far as we can tell, where this fight is taking place between Manello and all the bulls.
Yeah, that's going on the land of forgotten.
Right, but that's where he shows up when he dies.
No. He shows them the land of remembrance. He shows them the land of remembrance, and then he goes to the land of
Manello does. Carlos, we see him.
Okay, gotcha.
Carlos,
gotcha.
Standing there. We see him watch. What he's going to do his best to protect the town, and then in the next scene, he immediately appears in the bullfight. In the
that's right.
And so it's a little weird. He transports directly there. Because he is technically going to be remembered, but
it's a bit odd.
It's that part's a bit odd, but at the same time, I get why they did it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Grandma, also like 5 seconds later. That one was funny. I'm sorry, that one made me laugh.
That was funny.
But the whole design with them of the toy marionettes, it made a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, this is a cool little art style, and it works for what this is. I say it's wood. I mean, the skeleton heads the skulls look more like pebbles, like stone, and there is a bit of a different design with both La Muerta and Zabalba, but it's still kind of that marionette toy kind of look.
Yeah, it does.
It's matching the toys that she is showing, telling the story with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I liked that part. Or get to the art style of the wraparound story here in a minute.
Okay. Well,
what's your second?
My second light kind of goes to something you were kind of touching on a moment ago. The lands of the forgotten and the lands of the remembrance. Remembered. I enjoy the concept of those because they go to this would be Mexican.
It's Mexican lore. I don't know if it's
Mexico or Central America.
I'm assuming it's a evolution of the original Aztec and Mayan beliefs.
Not really.
I don't know the exact history of how the Day of the Dead thing works.
What I understand,
I assume there's also got to be Catholic influence.
Yeah, there's a lot of Catholic influence to that, and obviously that celebration is more to remember the dead, remember your loved ones, and as being an American, being a Western, obviously, that part of the world is part of the Western world, but being someone who didn't quite understand that as a child, and understanding more of the cultural differences between people, be like you have a respect for it at the same time in some capacities. It's still a little bit odd to me, but I find it's like when you're just trying, I know there are certain ways, like here in America, we remember, I know people, they go to their loved ones, families, graves on their anniversary or what have you.
Keep talking. I distract you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. It's fine.
I'm trying to fix this. I don't want, if Ashley shows up, I don't want her to think I am trying to keep you, trying to do a poor job on your camera placement.
Oh my gosh. But so if we're talking about, the culture in which they're trying to portray, I think it's done very well. I may not fully understand it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy where they believe that their loved ones go after they die. I may disagree with it, but I enjoy the general concept of this overabundance of color and celebration, the whole bit, and you get the contrast of if the land of remembering is heaven, obviously the land of forgotten is hell.
Yeah, but then comes the weird part, because there is going to be a point where you're forgotten by everyone.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
Earth, which means you're going to end up in the land of the forgotten eventually anyway.
Yeah, that is true.
So anyway,
it's one of those things. But
unless you're a celebrity, apparently.
Yeah, unless you're a celebrity, you'll be remembered forever.
Just saying, General Santa Anna is probably still in the land of the remembered if all that were to be true. Because every Texan remembers the guy because it's taught in history.
Yes. What was it like an old quote? It'd be like those who are remembered are those who are making into the history books.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I would say for like if you even go like generations, be like you have people that it's like, oh yeah, I remember so and so and so and so and so. But like, I don't think your loved ones truly ever leave you. I don't think it's the idea that we should venerate and be like, in some people's words, worship your ancestors, which I don't think the culture which they're depicting does that, but I think it's just more to be in reverence of who they were and what they did and that kind of stuff. I think there's a healthy dose of that. But yeah, I enjoy the general concept of the big flashy world of the land of remember, and then you have the contrast of the land of the forgotten. And I enjoy those lands. Now, Grant, I think it's done better on Coco, but that's just me.
I agree with that. It is done better in Coco.
It is done a whole lot better in Coco.
But one difference, and I'll get into my next slide here in a second, but I think part of the reason for that is that Coco actually has is a bit more of a dramatic story.
It is.
While this is more of a pure comedy.
It is. I agree.
Yeah. My second like for this was the bullfight at the in the land of the forgotten.
Oh yeah, that was
against Toro. Because first off, it starts up, it's like, oh, you've got to fight a bull. Every bull ever killed by the Sanchez family. That's a lot of bull.
Yeah,
that is a lot of bull.
That's a lot of bull.
In every way you could, that phrase means that is a lot of bull.
That is a lot of bull.
So, because how do you expect someone to kill that many bulls at the same time?
Yeah, you can't.
And so it's a blessing in disguise that they all merge into one giant kaiju bull.
Kaiju bull. I get it. I get it.
You know why I called him that?
Yes, I know why you called him that.
So, and then it's that idea is like, okay, you got to be true to yourself. You're not going to defeat this thing by being who everyone else wants you to be. You've got to be yourself.
Yes.
And that's how he ends up defeating. Now, admittedly, I would love to see an actual bullfighter, which I don't know if they actually do that anymore, because I know it is very unpopular, which was what surprised me when I saw this movie earlier the week, and this main guy is a bullfighter.
Yeah,
I'm like, that is very politically incorrect profession to have in this day and age to even put in a modern movie. How are you getting away with this, 20th Century Fox? Because yes, your name is Fox, but the movie studio is a little bit more liberal than the news station. Just saying. So I was surprised it was actually, oh yeah, we're doing a bullfight. That's a little... I could see in today's culture that would get you canceled. And they do thankfully they do, and they are actually showing how this is actually very cruel to the animal.
Yes.
Which is part of the point. They are very honest about it. It's not like even Bugs Bunny where Bugs Bunny defeats the bull, but the bull still was able to go back to be with his cow.
Yes.
And his little family and all his little calves after the end of the bullfight. You know, this was like, you've got to kill the bull. It's like, oh, you're actually going to show that. You're going to be honest about it. Okay. Why are you still showing bullfighting? Couldn't you had him do something else? I mean, Pixar wouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
They just went ahead and had him be a musician anyway. And well, shoemaker is what they wanted him to be. But anyway, which is still leather, which still means the death of a cow. Beside the point. So I like that they actually show the fact that he's a bullfighter and are very honest with how bullfighting works.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have us like, yeah, he can't kill the bull. He's going to be nicer to the animals, to the animal, especially since that's what his girlfriend Maria likes.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least he understands his girlfriend far more than Joaquin does. Far more than Joaquin ever does in this film. He does not understand her at all.
No.
So this is like a very poor love triangle.
You know who Joaquin reminds me of? In a very odd way. It's a movie that we reviewed several years ago. And I know it wasn't, we reviewed it. It wasn't a very good movie. But I remember the certain scene from the movie. These two characters, they fall in love. And it's more, what was it? It's like, oh, we'll have the wedding. It's like, why do you love her? Because she's beautiful. Anything else? What is there? Like that, the whole scene from the Swan Princess.
Oh yes,
yeah,
I hated that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. It was, I enjoyed for what it was, but Jiminy, this kind of reminded me of that.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. But yeah, I appreciate that, and plus the animation on this whole thing, especially when he goes full kaiju bowl. It's like,
kaiju bowl.
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
the design is really good.
To some degree, this was that moment where I was like, I wish I'd have saw this in theaters.
Yeah,
because that would have been cool to see him going up against this giant bull.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, he defeats him by singing to him.
Yes,
and it's a very heartfelt song.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm apologizing for everything that happened to every single one of these bulls for my entire family, because that's the only thing that's going to calm these bulls. And of course, this all comes back to the phrase of music's soothing the savage beast. So you've got that in there. But that whole sequence is like, okay, this is good. This is fun. Especially when Carlos and Grandma show up.
Oh, yeah, that's hilarious.
As far as we knew, they were alive, except one when we was fairly certain was about to die, and then it was immediately confirmed. So, yeah. The bullfighting sequence at the end, I very much appreciated.
Yes.
What's your third like?
My third like, my third like would be when we go back to the very beginning of the film, where our characters are very young, and then the quote unquote gods are placing a bet who's going to fall in love with Maria, who's going to marry her, which is always a very classic Greek and Roman pantheon story of the gods meddling with mortal lives.
Yeah.
And it's no different in this movie. I enjoy the point where Maria and the two boys are on they're departing because she's going to the convent, which makes no sense later on. To me, it doesn't.
Training her to be a lady.
They're training to be her a lady, which was fencing and like all these other stuff that just show up in the middle of this film. Anyways,
yeah. I have. We'll come back to it in the dislikes, but I have a couple questions considering he sent her back to Spain.
Yeah,
and this is Mexico. They didn't say it was when this was, but I have a suspicion this is not Spain-controlled Mexico.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that.
Yeah, if we're talking more like early Spain conquest of Mexico,
maybe
like it would kind of make sense. We'll
get to that in a minute.
We'll talk about that later. But I enjoy these three characters, their reactions of where they are trying to what's a good word for they're trying to gain the affection of Maria, even though at a very young age. And it's a very cute scene where they were like, "Oh, be like I will always wait for you."
Yeah,
and be like, obviously they do want it waiting for her, but I found the scene itself very cute and very memorable. And at the point where she drops her bonnet and what's the adventures one? What's his name?
Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin. Yeah, Joaquin's he jumps off the side of the road and goes chasing after it. I love
with
that
his fabulous mustache.
His fabulous mustache, his fake mustache.
Very obviously a fake mustache.
Yes, but and then Maria gives.
You couldn't design him without a mustache, could you?
No.
You knew that was going to be something he'd have later on. but you needed him as a kid, and kids don't actually have mustaches.
Yeah. But that entire scene I thought was very cute, is very well done, and it sets up more of, okay, what do our characters do after this? And obviously they switch to that and be like, obviously Joaquin has become the famous character he is now, because the hero character,
because he's survived so many fights.
Yeah. And how do you pronounce the other guy's name?
Manello.
Yeah, Manello. Yeah, Manello is a bullfighter who wants to be a musician, which is like, so it's like, okay, so Coco, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say so Coco, but then I thought, wait, Coco was the great grandmother in that one. What was the kid's name?
Oh, I don't
And
remember.
they don't remember.
I don't remember the movie Coco.
The
movie Coco, of course. But overall, but like that entire scene where they are saying their goodbyes to Maria's going on the train back to Spain.
Yes. The train to Spain.
The train to Spain.
That was a thought I was like. That was the thought I had. This was like, you can't take a train to Spain. Obviously, they're taking a train to the port where she'll get on a boat and go to Spain.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like, they're never going to show her on a boat. She's taking the train to Spain. It doesn't matter how the train got back all the way to Spain.
Completely different continents. Thank you very much.
It's those weird thoughts that cross your mind.
Yeah, once you're doing the review, it's like, wait a minute, how did she get to Spain then?
Well, obviously, I already said how it was.
Yeah.
Obviously,
well,
they took her to the port.
Yes.
But at the same time, in your mind, it's like, no. In my mind, she took the train to Spain. The train went to Spain. It didn't go to the port on the Mexican coast. It went to Spain.
It pulled a Doc Brown's time machine train and just hopped the time loop and went boop to Spain.
It went underwater.
There we go.
Past tentacles, the octopus. And then came back up the other side. Severely disturbing the Atlanteans we'll learn about next year.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be interesting. Anyways, so yeah. That is my like the
your third line?
Yeah, the train scene. I thought that was very cute and very well done. And very funny.
Okay. My last like for this film. This is just a fun movie. It's not like deep, dark, and depressing. It is teaching a lesson.
Yes,
technically.
Yes,
but this is just a fun movie. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not this deep, dramatic thing.
Nothing over serious.
It's nothing over serious. It's like we're gonna have fun, and it's very obvious considering the art style that these little toys are, made with. When some of them, it's like, I don't think that's anatomically possible.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
But this was just a fun movie. There was never a point here where I thought this is being too serious for what it is. And it never got so goofy that it overplayed its bit.
Yes.
There were a couple parts where it's like, okay, you can move on, but it was still, for the most part, it hit the points it needed to hit, and it allowed itself to have fun and didn't get overly dramatic or overly goofy. It was exactly what it needed to be, and it's just a fun little kids film. And I like that it didn't feel like it had to be more than that, when obviously there wasn't going to be that much more in the script. So yeah, I like that this is just a fun kids film.
Yes.
So now we need to get into dislikes.
Yes, get into dislikes.
And I'm going to go first on this.
Okay, go for it.
The wraparound story.
Okay.
The art style in that. Yeah, that. The art style in the wraparound story. Granted, because La Muerta and Zabalba and the Candlemaker all have to show up at the very end of this.
Yeah.
I understand why they did this. However, I wish that there had been either a more difference in the art style, or just make them live action. Film actual kids and an actual actress doing this part of the story, and then have the rest of it be this animated section. I would have preferred that, I think, to, well, let's be honest, Norm of the North character models.
You're not kidding. Oh my gosh.
At first, when I was looking, I was going, okay, so this is the same art style that's used in the rest of the film, but instead of being made to look like wooden toys, they're human, they're flesh and blood versions of that. And then the more I watched, no, there's more differences than that. This is just 3D, 2D cartoons, and you should have either stylized them better or just used live action. You would have filmed this a lot faster in live action than it probably took to animate it, and it would have done the same job, if not better. So
Okay.
yeah, I wish the wraparound story had been presented to us differently, though I don't know how you do the reveal at the end that Mary Beth was actually La Muerta the whole time.
Yeah. Which I do like that as a reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would go, this is, let's see. Yeah. My number one is, it is a very generic, I mean, it is a good, but very generic story. There's nothing really, oh my gosh, shocking, nothing that is going to, no big revelation. It's not the first time you watch Frozen and you realize, oh yeah, Hans is the bad guy.
Which, granted, I didn't catch the first time I watched Frozen.
Yeah.
So.
But this movie, it's so predictable. It's play by number, play A, B, C, D, and play it safe kind of storytelling where you're not doing anything like huge. You're gonna change the mold and do something different. But it's a very safe story. And I really wish they would have gone in and done something a little more challenging with the story, because you watch this movie, it is paint by numbers,
especially when you're going up against a Pixar movie with the same premise.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. Like, yeah, after you've watched Coco and you watch this movie, it's like, okay, obviously Coco is a far better film in my opinion. But I think this movie is very generic, very cookie cutter in a way. Be like, the story beats, what's going to happen. There's no, everything is so predictable. There's no change and variation of how they do the story because what's going to happen. And I really wish they would have gone in and done we're going to turn this on its heel or something like that, with making, I don't know, Maria the one who saves everything or something like that, and change that dynamic up. But overall, I think the story is very generic. It is very forgettable in that way. It's cookie cutter. And yeah, I think the story is just very bland, very generic, cookie cutter story.
My second dislike for this is, okay, I will admit, I understand this is supposed to be basically a Mexican fairy tale.
Yes.
And for a fairy tale, exact timeline is not important.
Yeah.
You just need to give a feel of the area, and maybe you can reference things that from the real world, because I mean that happened all the time in those other in the regular fairy tale stories we all know and love.
Yes.
They mention that Belle is in France in Beauty and the Beast, and mentions Paris, so that's not out of the realm of possibility. But this does not seem to know when it takes place.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, it's very obvious sometime after Mexican Revolution. They almost mention it because they mention that they talk about the bandit king Chalka as being who they're fighting against. But it really felt like Chalka may have been working for Spain in a way. It really felt like they were talking about the Mexican Revolution, which is where all the army died, or they're getting ready to fight this war against Spain that maybe this is past. And I'm sitting there going, so General Posada, why are you sending, as a general in the Mexican army, why are you sending your daughter to Spain to become a lady? Don't you think that the enemy is not a good place to send your child?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that may not have been the best place to have her grow as a lady. I'm saying there's probably a lot closer convents you could have sent her that would have raised her as a lady, and I'm just saying that it's a throwaway line that's not important, right? Admittedly, because the point is she gets on the train and is gone for most of their childhood.
Yeah,
that's the important part of the story.
Yeah,
I get that, but I'm still sitting going. I'm sending you to Spain to the Lady of Perpetual something. I don't remember what he said.
Something or another. Yes.
It's a very Catholic term
Yes.
name for a church. Lady of Perpetual. I don't remember what it is, but anyway, and I get you're sending her off to Europe so she can become a lady, and you, of course, Spain because you're Mexico. Okay, fine, but didn't you just get done with a war with Spain? And you are calling yourself Mexico. So it's either A, you're about to go to war with Spain for your independence, or you just got done with your war from Spain, or the part one that makes even less sense, you sent her off, then they went to war with Spain, and then she came back after everything was done, which makes even less sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't get where it thinks it is in the time frame. Granted, I recognize Mexican fairy tale. It's not important when this takes place in actual history, but in my mind, it's like there's some issues here because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Agreed.
So, what's your second dislike?
My second dislike of this film. No, this is my third.
No, it's your second because I went first.
That's right. I got all kabuffle.
Sorry.
No, you're good. My second dislike. Let's see, generic story. That was my first one. Second would be Maria learned a lot in the convents.
Yes,
a
she
lot.
did.
Oh my gosh.
Including kung fu.
Kung fu, sword fighting, like everything you need. Just
what convent? Were you working for the Catholic Secret Service?
Because to me, like it's kind of weird because they should be like, oh, she went off to the convent, but throughout the entire movie, it's more like, oh, I explored all the world. I did this and this and this and this. When did you have that time to be supposed to be becoming a nun? Not
she wasn't trying to become a nun. To be a lady is how they said.
Yeah, but going to a convent.
I get the feeling it's more of a private school that's run by a convent.
Okay.
That's my feeling.
Fair enough.
They didn't say that, but I think that's what that was implied.
Oh, okay. But it's like all of a sudden Maria comes in, but like every scene, there is just this be like, oh, I learned this in school. And it's like, what?
When did you have time to do that?
After all your world traveling and all your reading and all of this and this and this and this for the last, 4 years? 4 or 5 years?
Was Sister Chun-Li very helpful in training you to do martial arts in the convent?
In Spain?
Spain? What was Sister Chun-Li doing in Spain?
Yeah, I would assume probably the
underneath Padre Ryu.
Padre Ryu. Oh my gosh.
I'm assuming she hung out in the Street Fighter world. I don't know why.
Yeah, but the amount of help me with the a character who just automatically has these abilities for the sake of the plot.
Neo?
Yeah, Neo.
In the Matrix?
Yeah, she pulls a Neo the entire time. Be like, I know Kung Fu.
It's like, of course you do, because you needed a joke in this fight.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But the thing is to be like with the Matrix, but like they set up where Neo learns how to do Kung Fu.
Yeah.
With this movie,
it's
literally, it's like, whoa, I know Kung Fu. Whoa. Kind of thing.
I mean, I can follow the train of thought here,
Yes.
because if this was a especially liberal convent and they had like liberal studies, like, modern day colleges, basically the idea is they're playing here is she went off to college and probably went through like a women's studies program or something, and that she learned Tai Chi or something to help center her katra or whatever, and then went back to Spain or Mexico. Sneeze. I know. I'm waiting for you to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.
Ow! And I'm out. Ow!
I'll probably see that.
Oh
Do
my
that.
gosh! Ow! What were we talking about before I started sneezing?
Oh
yeah,
Maria and her liberal arts studies program at the liberal convent.
Oh my gosh! But it's she has this be like she pulls these abilities out of her skirt, I guess.
I was really afraid where you were going with that phrase. Out of hammer space. Anyway.
Okay, out of hammer space, or she pulled out of her her extendable charm bag.
Okay. Fine.
But it's like everything. It's like, oh, I know how to fight with a sword because I learned this, and my schooling. And I'm like, really?
Where was this school? What is a Tortuga? Were you secretly a pirate, Maria?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! But yeah, just a little bit of what in the world. her pulling of like special skills out of nowhere, just and makes it these very blank statements of where she got it from. It's just like it would have been great if she would have said, be like, I know she said, be like, oh, be like, I learned how to read, I learned how to do this and this and this. If she would have like made this small little dialogue of everything she did, and when the scene pops up, we are given more where it's like, okay, we have this information. She knows how to sword fight. Maybe people will believe her. And then when she pops out and can kick everybody's butt, be like, that would make more sense. And instead of pulling it out from the ether and be like, I know how to sword fight. I know how to do kung fu. Whoa. Kind of thing.
Well, I mean, the joke is we can't let her, she can't protect herself. She's a woman. Because this is how people thought back then.
Yes.
So obviously, we need to go teach you how to be a lady, and sends her off to Spain, comes back, and she actually, along with knowing how to be a lady, because she does act like, she still acts like herself.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So she didn't really change, but now that she's
her manners have become
her manners
more
are better.
refined.
At the same time, she also learned how to kick some butt, apparently.
Yes.
Which was probably not the general's thought process, but who cares? Oh well. My third dislike for this film. This film is short.
It is very short.
It feels like if you would have extended it a little bit longer, you could have done some other little cool things, like you said, that would have helped expand it and play with it a little bit. Even though I do like that this is obviously knows it's a kid's film and doesn't try to do a lot of doesn't try to overplay itself, because it could have easily done that. I'm not saying that I'm not being hypocritical with this statement. I wish that in the writing they had done like a little more to give some shape to the universe.
Yes.
Now, granted, it's supposed to be a story told by a quote unquote museum tour guide to a bunch of children.
Yeah.
I get that, but you're still telling it to us. You could do some more with it. Actually make these characters feel like three-dimensional characters, because that is the thing. All these characters are very two-dimensional. It knows it's two-dimensional, so it doesn't play with it, but if you would have made the characters more three-dimensional, you could have made the story fuller.
Yeah, agreed.
So even though I do appreciate that, since it knows its characters are two-dimensional, it doesn't try to do anything unearned with these characters. I wish they had earned the ability to be deep.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what it comes down to. So yeah, I wish it could have done a little bit more work to be deep, but I'm also thankful it didn't try to overextend itself.
True.
So what's your third dislike?
My third dislike, let's see. Bland story, Maria pulling everything out of the ether. And my third dislike of this film. That's a bad point when you don't write your you likes and dislikes. So you'd be like, and then you're like, what was my third dislike? Do I have a third dislike?
I've been there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what my third dislike is. Be like there is some good things about this film. There's some bad things about this film, but oh, I just remembered it popped. It came out of the ether. My third one just popped out of the ether like Maria's
right.
skills all of a sudden.
Mhm.
The opening with our delinquent kids who go to this this museum. Oh my gosh, the shading, the design,
art style.
yeah, the art style is just so, oh my gosh. Well, it's not as bad as like a certain episodes we're going to review in a few minutes from TAS.
It wasn't as bad as Norm of the North.
No,
you could tell it was the same company.
yeah, it was so janky and wiry and like the I'm getting PTSD from watching that episode of I think it's 4 or whatever from X-Men for this season or from season 5. Oh my gosh, the shadows, why do they move? But yeah, just the opening animation was just like, did you do this last because you ran out of a budget? Because everything else looks great for the most part, and then you get this. I'm like, ugh. And I granted the butt end of this film be like the characters still look janky as all out, but jeez, that looks bad.
Yeah,
it looked terrible. The beginning and end of this film, except when our characters reveal themselves as like, oh, I'm actually this character, kind of thing. But yeah, just the animation from in the beginning at the end was not good. I did not like it. To me, it tasted like sour grapes. It was terrible.
okay. I don't get the reference. I'm sorry. Sure, it's a brilliant reference. I just don't get it.
I don't remember where I got it. I've heard it 1,000 times when I was a kid. I just don't remember where it's from.
All right.
Yeah.
So that means we need to
rate this thing.
Rate this movie. I'm giving it a 7.
You're giving it a 7. Okay.
It's not horrible.
No.
It's a fun movie for what it is. It's a good
Yes.
movie.
Mhm.
I wish it was more, but for what
Yes.
it is, it's a good movie.
Yes.
It does a good job. It's fine. It's that's the thing about this.
It's a serviceable film.
It is fine. It is competent. It is.
Yes.
I would not mind putting a kid in front of this film.
Yeah.
And letting them watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 7.
I'm in the same boat. It has good qualities of it. It's got good animation. The beginning and the end is not good animation, except when you get the real revelation of who these tour guides are. And there's like, okay, people are pulling stuff out of their posterior and how they do things sometimes, and the story is kind of generic. But yeah, it's serviceable. It's a 7. It's worth a watch, but I probably wouldn't go watch it again. I'd probably go find Coco and watch that, but that's just me.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, 7.
All right. That brings us to the end of this review. Next week, we are going into Miyazaki month.
Yes.
Or Studio Ghibli month.
Yeah. Miyazaki.
Ghibli and Miyazaki. Either way.
Yeah.
And we're starting with a movie that I have been warned is not very good, which is disturbing to hear with Miyazaki stuff because we all know how that goes. Yeah, we are starting next week off with next Miyazaki month off with Tales from Earthsea.
Yeah,
I know really nothing about this other than the fact that one of my friends told me this was not a good film, and I kind of wished I could have returned it. Which is like, well, that's not worrying
at
in
all.
the slightest
at all.
So yeah, we're doing that one next week.
Yes.
So join us for that. In the meantime, we are going to play some. We're going to play the intermission. Go into the intermission on the other side. What we've been watching, the news, and some X-Men.
Help!
I hit the button.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or...
Sorry, that was my fault.
Oh yeah, because you normally just do it live, right?
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box.
Oops.
Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
Sorry.
The heck was that?
That was me. This week, we suggest listening to Playing Games with Strangers. Playing Games with Strangers is a family-friendly actual play D&D podcast. Well, not really D&D, but tabletop RPG, where in-voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. You can listen to the adventures unfold as they roll dice, slay monsters, and have fun, all at playinggameswithstrangers.com. Hang on. The Cel Cast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, Edwin Gonzalez, and Kiana. If you want to hear your name shouted out on our show, you can donate to us on Patreon. There you'll also get some uncut episodes of the Cel Cast, along with special art from Jacob, which I'm going to be posting some up later this evening. So join, if go and get your stuff there. I'm sorry, I brain farted at the end. Okay.
You can't brain fart in the show. It's not for. It's forget it. Now, blah, 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 and I can't talk.
You can't even say what
I can't even say anything.
You can't even mock me without stuttering. Also, welcome to the Cel Cast.
You're welcome,
patrons.
Oh,
Are you ready to go into the second part of this? 'Cause all we had is Heather Morgan did agree with you that it was the Swan Princess.
Yes.
And then Neko came in for a bit, said, hey, I remember this movie. He was just checking, hope the episode goes well. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Neko,
thank you, Neko.
if you ever hear this. So let's go ahead and jump into the rest of it, shall we?
Do it.
I'm working on it.
Do it faster.
So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Jack Squat.
Really?
Well, the only thing I've really watched was probably the episode for Star Trek Lower Decks.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously what we've been reviewing for this, but my week has been nuts. Let's be frank.
Okay.
It has been more I realized I might have a little bit of issue in my apartment, and I'm having an exterminator come over to fix said problem. I'm not going to say what it is. It's nothing bad. It's just something that needs to be taken care of.
Considering that they were doing inspections this week, did you find it or did they find it?
No, I found it.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I found it, and I alerted them about it, and they're like, okay. So I've been sleeping on an air mattress for the last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I now know what you're referring to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to get a new mattress?
No.
Okay.
Well, they're going to be like, I do not know exactly what, this little, as a uninvited house guest showed up at my house. I don't know what it is.
It makes it sound like your brother showed up, which I don't think you'd actually call him a pest.
No, I love my brother dearly. I know he is a pest, but
I know you do. But it's like the way you said that's like it's uninvited house guest. Why does it sound like? Why does Jim come to mind the minute you say that?
Yeah.
No offense, Jim, but that is intended at all.
Yes, it's been an interesting week. Learned some information about some people we know. That sadly passed away, and we can say that now because the boycott's been lifted. But our heart goes out to the Amesworth family for the passing of their wife and mother. Prayers go out to you and your family for that. Other than that, it's just been a busy week. Had a little bit of a. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about my. We're here to talk about what I've been watching, right?
Yes.
So the only thing I've really been watching is a bunch of YouTube at the end of the night when I get home and I'm sitting on my air mattress.
Oh my.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically been it the entire week. Obviously, yeah, listen to some podcasts here and there, but other than that, it's just been watching YouTube and watching this and sleeping on an air mattress all week.
Fun.
Yeah, fun.
All right. What I've been watching.
Yeah.
I watched. I'm almost caught up on Loki.
Okay.
I watched. I'm up to episode 3.
Okay.
Which-
New season, right?
The new season of
Okay.
Loki, season
Okay.
2. It's actually it's so far it's been pretty good. There's a couple. There's a little bit of multiversal techno babble that will make your head spin if you're not careful.
Of course.
But you kind of expect that for this, and a lot of what I would call jumping to conclusions that they
Gotcha.
kind of expect you to do. But it's pretty good so far, though. It does appear that I get it. It's its own universe. It's not necessarily Earth 616 in the comic continuity.
Yes.
I get that, but what my understanding of Kang the Conqueror was that he was somewhat related to Mr. Fantastic. Like he was I thought he was like a descendant in the far future of him and Invisible Woman. Why can I not think of either of these characters for normal names?
What are we talking about? Sorry, I get this right.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, the which version of Fantastic Four?
No, I'm trying to remember character names.
Oh, Sue Storm.
Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, and her husband.
Oh, Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. In my mind, Kang the Conqueror. I could be wrong about this, but I could have sworn that Kang the Conqueror was like a descendant of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, like super far in the future.
Yeah,
and that is not the case here. They kind of show that off. I mean, granted, they still haven't shown how the Fantastic Four are going to work in this universe yet, but he's definitely not from the future, though how he's going to end up doing everything that he does is still beyond my knowledge. Maybe they'll explain this. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty decent show so far. Of course, I am watching Spy Family.
Yeah.
We got 3 episodes of that out now. That show is still very, very good. There are still some times where it's like, well, this could be better.
Yeah. But
at the same time, the fact that I still find myself uncontrollably smiling at the end of every episode,
of course,
shows this show still has what I like. So, yeah. I'm still hoping I'm still looking forward to every episode every week. And there was another show that I watched when I was over at Chase's. He showed it to me, and I'm going to have to keep watching it. I don't remember what the name of it is.
Gotcha.
But the story is, it's about an adventuring party in a fantasy setting. One of the characters is an elf.
Yeah.
Which, of course, means she's going to live far longer than her party members.
Yes.
And it actually starts with them coming home from defeating the Dark Lord.
Really?
Yeah. And it's about her realizing that she doesn't really know most of her party members. So before literally after the opening credit sequence, they're old men. Or as old men as they can be. One of them we actually see die of old age at one point. And it's like, and it's just kind of this nice, dark, deep story. Look at it, and she's coming to the realization that she doesn't spend time in the normal world, and she's taking these people for granted.
Yeah.
And she's given the chance to kind of she's kind of given a second chance with a new person. That's all I'm going to say. I hadn't watched past the first episode, so all I know is that what I saw was good.
Yeah.
But it's going to take, I'm interested to see where it goes. I hadn't watched the rest of the series yet. And I can't remember what it's called. It's like Elfleen or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, other than that,
Mm-hmm.
and of course Lower Decks, that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jacob, what do we have in the news?
D-Let.
The Cel Cast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, D-Lit. And going into the news, this is a little bit of news about the new Disney film Wish. Obviously my information comes from animationmagazine.net. If you go look up more information about that. No other studio in the world is more closely associated with wishes and dreams than the Walt Disney Animation Studios. From the moment Cinderella sang a dream is a wish you make in your heart makes when you're fast asleep. Audiences around the world were taken to a place where fix their eyes on the evening star while thinking in your heart's desire might actually come true. So it seemed only natural that Wish, a movie about the power of aspirations, would be the film the studio would choose to celebrate its 100th anniversary in 2023. I just thought that was a very nice quote I found on that website. So going into a little bit more news about an Adam Sandler project coming up. Netflix is inviting families to a free screening of its upcoming animation musical comedy Leo, starring Adam Sandler, as part of a one weekend only event on November 11th through the 12th. The studio platform will offer 300 showings at 150 locations across the United States. The pick will be available. The show will be available to be streamed on Netflix starting on November 21st. So this little bit of news that I'm about to read now comes from Batman Batman-news.com, and it was actually provided by one of our listeners, Heather, who was in the chat a few minutes ago. Heather on the Cel Nation private chat on Messenger. We are sad to report that the actor Richard Mull has passed away. Known for his large stature and booming voice, at the massive height of 6'8", the actor achieved fame as the kind-hearted bailiff Bull Shannon in the sitcom Night Court. I remember Night Court very well because it was a show that went off that was coming on when we were going to bed when I was little.
I watched a lot of it right as COVID was happening, because before then I watched the news every morning.
Yeah.
COVID broke me of that. And I had to watch something else in the morning.
Fair.
And I watched Night Court.
I got you. Mole was a series regular of all 9 seasons of Night Court. Also had parts in multiple television shows and movies throughout his career. He became well known as a voice actor, whether it was the warrior Norman from Mighty Max, or supporting roles such as in Freakazoid, Superman the animated series, and also, as most of us love and dear, from Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, from Batman the animated series and Justice League. There again, thank you, Heather, for bringing that to my attention, and that is all I have for in the news.
I'm curious who he was in Freakazoid. Not sure I'm looking at the right Richard Mull. That didn't look like him. Oh, I am looking at the right Richard Mall. Just a really weird picture of him. We'll get back to the show in a minute, guys.
Yes.
I'm distracted. Oh, he played the Scorpion in Spider-Man, the animated series. Batman Brave and the Bold. That means I passed it again. Freakazoid was 2000. No, it was 98.
Yeah, it was the late 90s.
Late 90s. That's why I hadn't found it yet.
Freakazoid.
He was the Wolfman and Vorn the Unspeakable.
Okay.
In one episode. So
Okay.
That answers that question.
Okay.
I just picked one, guys. I don't know what she said there.
Jeez. You think you know her?
Break the immersion, why don't I?
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
Okay, so Richard Mall was the last
Yes.
one. Okay. So on that sad note, why don't we talk about some X-Men?
Why? Can't we just skip these episodes? Because they're terrible.
But I've seen this episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Just play it.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet the sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. A two-fisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically erotic
Say what?
and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
X-Men, the animated series, The Fifth Horseman.
More like the
First aired February 8th, 1997. Directed by Larry Houston and Fred Miller, and written by Stephen Melching and David McDermott. In this episode, Fabian Cortez kidnaps Jubilee because Apocalypse is trapped in the astral plane and needs a host body. Guest cast for this includes Lauren Kennedy as Apocalypse and Jeffrey Max Nichols as Fabian Cortez. And literally the only other two actors listed on the IMDb page of this episode were Jubilee and Beast.
Yeah,
the
you're
shortest list.
You're not kidding.
That was here. Trivia for this episode. Caliban is shown as the leader of the Hounds, a mutant strike force in the service of Apocalypse. They share an appearance with two unrelated groups of the Hounds after the comics, neither of which is associated with Apocalypse. Lastly, Fabian Cortez returns after being saved from the destruction of Asteroid M by Apocalypse in Sanctuary Part 2.
Sanctuary!
I'm just going to say, when we reviewed the previous episodes,
Yes.
Phalanx Covenant,
Yeah.
Stormfront,
Right.
and what was the other two-parter?
Stormfront. Let me get there.
There was another one that was in there.
Stormfront Part 2. No, it's just
Is this Phalanx Covenant and Stormfront?
yeah, I think so. Hold on, give me a moment.
I could have sworn there was another, not a four-parter, but
okay, give me a moment. Let's see. Stormfront. Yeah, it's the Fifth Horseman and Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater.
So it was just Stormfront and Phalanx.
Yes.
Okay. When we reviewed the Stormfront and Phalanx Covenant, we talked about how the animation really wasn't as bad as everyone was saying.
No, it was, oh my gosh, this looks really
And
good.
then we got to this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Good night.
My eyes are burning.
What happened here? Part of this, okay, I will admit a good portion of why this one sticks out so badly
Yes.
is the fact that every single one of the natives is painted up like they're with apocalypse lines, which makes everything stand out pretty badly.
Yes.
The fact that almost the animation is too fluid
You're not
for
kidding.
Apocalypse and pretty much every other character.
Oh my gosh.
But then, good night. Hey,
Oh,
you had these things. You say it. This
oh,
is the one that made you text me at like 10:30 last night.
yeah.
It says my eyes.
They're burning. So there again, we come off Stormfront, which the animation is done very well, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to this
well
horse
enough.
crap.
It's like
I-
Phalanx Covenant and Stormfront was what they sent to the networks for their approval on this art change.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
And then they probably did a couple. I'm guessing. I didn't look at the actual chronological episode releases.
Right.
I'm guessing a bunch of the other episodes that we already reviewed that chronologically
Yeah.
fit in season 3 and 4 must have been right after this, and now we're at the tail end of what they were making.
Yeah. So if I was Nate Marchand on Monsters Island Film Vault, I'd be pulling out Ratmaster activated. Thank you. Oh my word! The animation is so terrible in this. Like the 2 episodes we're doing today are absolutely horrendous. For example, let me save you from watching these terrible episodes. So the point where in the 5th Horseman we have Jubilee and Beast are in a Jeep. The animation is so bad, the shadows are moving around the characters the entire time. And I'm not kidding. I watched it. You literally see where it's Beast. He's sitting there. It's kind of like those animatics from those really, really bad Zelda games back in the 90s or back 80s.
Those weren't animatics. That was the actual animation on those Philips CDI games.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It reminded me of those because I remember watching some of that. I was like, oh dear Lord, this is terrible. They can't make anything worse. Oh, they made it worse because I kid you not, because Beast is driving in the car with his backpack on for some stupid reason. And then all of a sudden be like, he's bopping along, talk. And then all of a sudden his frame gets bigger and bigger and bigger through the entire frame of the shot. It's like, did he crunch up? Did he mutate into a bigger form of himself? And then it's worse with Jubilee. Oh my word. This is terrible. Like, it's like Jubilee, she turns around and does this number. It's like, oh my gosh, my eyes are burning. It's so terrible. Where's the Visine? It's terrible. It was so bad. The entire episode was so bad animation wise. There was a little bit here and there when it came to like little bits of story, but then the animation just hit you in the face with the biggest hammer and say, hey, look, we're pretty. Oh my word. It was so we're gorgeous. You're gonna look at us. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. So terrible. Oh my gosh. Like I felt like literally my entire face was burning. I was like, oh my gosh, make it stop. And then I was like, okay, maybe the animation won't be too bad in the next episode. I was wrong. Oh my word. The animation was so horrendous.
Don't get into that one yet.
I'm not. But oh my word, like when Apocalypse showed up, oh my gosh, did he have fangs or what?
The fact that he just kind of appears.
Yeah. Astral projection.
Astral projected. So
Yeah.
half phased on top of his monument to him.
Monument to himself.
And I'm like,
Oh
you
my
can see through him, and it's like, that looks horrible. Why did you do that? Plus, why does he look like he's made out of silly putty?
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. Oh my gosh. And you go through the episode, all the characters look like their shadows are literally dancing around their bodies. It's like, what the crap is going on
They were
here?
probably thinking, because there were fires, there were torches around there. That's probably the thought process.
Maybe.
But the problem was it was distracting.
Very distracting. Oh my gosh. Be like, you go from this very nice animation with Stormfront, which is done very well, to this, oh my gosh, I'm in your face 3 seconds. It was so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to clap. I'll be like, I watched these 2 episodes. There again, I'm not going to talk about Jubilee's fairy tales.
Yeah, don't get it.
I'm not going to yet. Yeah, let me get on another right match about that piece of crap. But oh my gosh, it was like the little bits here and there where the main baddie turns Beast into Dark Beast from AOA.
Oh my word!
That was so terrible.
Are we supposed to assume this is the same Beast?
Yeah,
because he looks nothing like Beast. I don't mean he's no longer fluffy. It's not that he had the Sully from most of Monsters Incorporated, who scary Sully that scares the crap out of Boo.
Right.
Where it's obviously the same character, but there is a difference in demeanor and how he looks and everything. This is, we redesigned the entire character for Evil Beast. That's like, you're not supposed to redesign the characters till the next episode.
Oh my gosh.
Which technically was the previous episode.
Yes.
I'll get to that in a minute.
Oh my gosh. But it's like, okay, be like, obviously the design they use was from Age of Apocalypse back in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah,
they're
it's
obviously
Dark
trying
Beast.
to change to a different art style in this.
Yes,
especially in the next episode.
My word.
Oh my word.
The animation was terrible. But like every little bit of like cool storytelling they're trying to do is so overshadowed and so uglified by the animation in these episodes. It's not even funny. Oh my gosh. I wanted to in some fashion or form vomit in order to get it out of my system. It was so bad. So bad. Oh my gosh.
So,
oh my gosh.
As Jacob looks at the conversation I just had with Nate Marchand.
Yes.
This is a garbage episode.
You're not kidding.
It's like, you saved this goober from the exploding asteroid by this? You should have let him die because he didn't last 5 freaking minutes. I mean, he did. He lasted till the end of the episode.
Where he got turned into Apocalypse.
We got turned to Apocalypse.
With Apocalypse, the big enormous screaming, ha, 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 I'm evil.
And I'm sitting here going,
oh my gosh.
You couldn't have played with that design a little to make him still kind of look like the other guy. You had to go full on Apocalypse. You're just taking the fact that I was trying to envision as female Apocalypse. If he had actually taken over Jubilee's body, you made that just go out the window because it's like you were just going to somehow turn her into a man for your body. Why? You took all the fun out of this, Saban.
So here's the thing.
You could have messed with the design a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, make the head longer because this guy did have a very thin head.
Yeah.
But no, you just like completely rewrite his DNA somehow.
Oh,
but yet you still needed someone who was powerful enough. What? Yeah, because you're just going to rewrite his DNA. It could have been anybody. Obviously, it could have been anybody. Anyway. Yeah. But you could have just thrown in some 2-year-old baby and it would have done the same job. I mean, yeah, it would not. That would have been worse, but you're a villain. You're allowed to be worse.
Oh, my gosh. So
you didn't have to kidnap Jubilee so she could be the damsel in distress.
Oh, here's the other thing. So we, the very beginning of the episode, we have this so-called mutant. We don't know if it's a mutant or not. That is it's escaping from the Horsemen or whatever they're called in this one, and he gets away, and then like Jubilee and Beast show up, and what is the main leader of the group that's trying
Cortez?
Cortez,
the guy that gets turned into Apocalypse.
No, his henchman.
I don't know. They're acting like we should know who the crap these people are. Yeah, but I have never seen this guy in this show before.
Yeah, Lynch.
He was not in a previous episode.
I know. It's like we're supposed to believe like who's this guy?
And he's something. I was like, that's Jubilee. I can't do this to her. Please don't let her. I'll take her place. I was like, who the crap are you, and why should I care?
No. Here's the problem with that. Here's the huge problem with that. So it'd be like you set it up, and you have Leech. Am I saying that right?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever the character's
He
name
was
is.
apparently a Morlock.
Yeah, he was a Morlock at one point.
I don't remember you in the sewers of New York.
Were you the little kid in the last episode?
No, because that Leech was green and short. He was a kid and have a Morlock Little Christmas. That's why he was able to be healed by Wolverine's blood.
Yeah.
If you saved this kid just so he could get shot in this episode, Saban, that was the stupidest move you could have made.
Oh my gosh. And then it was like this character, he senses Jubilee's power and sees her, and obviously he knows who she is.
And I'm
Coley goes over
are you saying that you can sense energy? And you can sense whose it is. So obviously you're sensing, oh, that's Freeze over there. He's gonna come and kill us all.
No, it was like he heard her voice echoing through, for somehow it's echoing, and then it's like,
Forest echo.
Yeah, be like, I have found the next host. We must find her. And then it's like, you didn't recognize her voice, but now you realize, oh, I can visually see her, which she doesn't look like Jubilee at all. Like the Jubilee from the last episode we saw, her hair actually looked like hair, not a freaking mat. Not a freaking mat of just black and blue color. Come on.
Right.
Oh my gosh. This was a terrible episode. Black my system.
On that note, why don't we hit the other headache-inducing episode of this week?
Hey, oh my gosh.
Jubilee's Fairy Tale Theater first aired on November 16th, 1996. That's right. This episode was previous to this one when it first aired.
Why?
And there's no reason these two episodes had to be switched, Disney Plus. At this point, you should have gave up caring. You really should have. I appreciate you putting all this in the order, in chronological order for us, but by this point, just put it out there. We don't care. There's nothing that puts this episode before or after the last one. Directed by Larry Houston and Fred Miller, and written by Brooks Watchell, which I double-checked this because I thought, after watching this, this has to be written by the same frickin' person who did that Fairy Tale Power Rangers episode, but I looked, and this is not Cheryl Saban, so thankfully that didn't happen. Guest cast: Don Franks as Sabretooth, Tara Strong as the little girl, and David Himblin as Magnus the Magnificent, a.k.a.
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
Can we get that Magneto,
And
please?
boy, were you definitely not the master of magnetism this week.
Oh my
because
gosh.
you didn't even know how to not get suits of metallic armor to be attracted to you. Trivia for this episode.
Oh gosh.
Two of the peasants saved by Jubilee and her story bear the same character models and voices as her foster parents from Night of the Sentinels Part 1. The third peasant is modeled after Longshot.
True. It is Longshot.
Pretty much. In addition to the new opening first scene in Longshot, which must have been previous to this.
Yes.
Like the episode right before this. This episode features several animation and character design changes. Professor Xavier's chair, the Blackbird, Jubilee's hair and clothes, as well as Tony Daniels replacing Chris Potter as the voice of Gambit.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and when I watched this episode, I didn't realize they had changed his voice.
Yeah.
I thought, were you drunk when you recorded this? This is not a Cajun accent.
Yes. This is a French accent.
But here's a fun fact. This episode marks the first time ever that Jubilee's proper surname is used in dialogue, where she is referred to as Miss Lee.
Yeah.
Which means, I guess, they never called her before this Jubilation Lee in dialogue?
Yeah. No, it's called Jubilee.
Yeah. Granted, I remember in the first episode they did on the Sentinels readout. It said Jubilation Lee.
Yeah.
But I guess I never realized they never said her real name out loud.
No, they haven't.
They only used her X-Men name.
They just call her Jubilee.
Oh
my gosh.
Finally.
Oh.
You're going to hate this last part.
Fire away.
This story was inspired by Uncanny X-Men number 153, titled Kitty's Fairy Tale, where Kitty Pryde, aka who Jubilee is taking the place of,
Yes,
because of weird copyright issues,
oh my gosh,
told a fairy tale to Liana Rasputin, aka my favorite character's little sister.
Yes.
About the pirates, Captain Kitty and Colossus. Why did we not get a pirate theme? That would have made so much more sense. Though, if we hadn't had pirate theme, we would not have had Trollverine.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And like I said, I've seen this episode of Power Rangers. That would be, except this time we didn't have, the villain was not a man, a strangely Japanese man in tight leather armor.
My God.
It was Magneto and what should have been Sentinels, but were Magneto Knights?
Magneto Knights?
Suits of armor?
Yes. Yes.
Huh? Okay, y'all. You have to realize this is basically the same concept as the movie we just got done reviewing in this episode, except worse. Granted, I get why Jubilee made herself the hero of the story. That's fine. She's telling the story to kids.
Yes.
And I thought, as it was getting started, I thought, oh, you're bringing in like some super cool lore that maybe these kids have never heard. You're using
their students,
the world to these kids.
Yeah.
It's like, but you're telling the story in a way. So it's like you're telling basically the story of your life or your time here with the X-Men, but using a fantasy
yes
outlook instead of real life, because you could easily tell the story. Except it's horrible. It's not even a good retelling of any of the stories. It's its own original story, which is going to be fine. But there were so many times I was listening to her going through this and going, you really did not think this through at all. Granted, I get it. She's making up the story as she goes.
Yes.
But did the writer of this episode do that? No. I'm convinced they must have. They had a basic concept. Oh, they're going to be in a cave underneath the mansion.
Yeah.
Okay. I can let that go because this is New York.
Sounds like a previous episode of Lower Decks we recently did.
Yeah, except better.
Yeah.
The Lower Decks episode was better.
Yeah, better.
So they're in a cave underneath Xavier Mansion that's apparently having an earthquake. In New York? In New York. And there's cave-ins, and you're close enough to a source of water that it's rising and going to drown everybody. What? What is going on here?
Thankfully, Storm wasn't there.
Storm would have got her out of this a lot faster. Everybody. Wolverine would have got them out of here in a hurry.
Oh my gosh. But Jubilee had to tell her story because she's trying to make the kids feel brave.
Granted,
telling
a story to these kids to keep them
calm
in this situation. It's a great idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Except you could tell she still doesn't want to be there, but she has to. The idea is she's growing into this role. Like, oh, she can be a caretaker. She doesn't have to be doing all the cool stuff. Yet I bet you in the next episode, whatever it is, she ain't going to learn that lesson. She's going to backtrack to what she was before. Because you want to know why I know this? We already watched the next episode. In production wise, or in release order, the next episode was the Fifth Horseman. So we know she didn't keep that growth up because she's pretty much the same whiny brat she's been this whole show. Granted, she's a lovable whiny brat.
Yes, she is a lovable whiny brat.
But I don't expect her to not be a whiny brat by the end of the show because she's not Ahsoka. She's just not that kind of character. But can we not have, if you're not going to do anything cool with Jubilee, can you not give her focus episodes?
Yeah.
You already gave her the big one, which was how she joined the X-Men. That just was a good way to introduce you to the whole world. You really didn't need her after that, except to be the kid standing character. And now you're going to have her be the viewer standing character. That's kind of what the point of Jubilee's role is in the show. We really didn't need her being like a leader of kids, because that, and then telling this fantasy story, it's like, what is going on?
And the thing is,
get this off my chest, please. Go
ahead.
Talk.
Oh my gosh! So that'd be like, is she supposed to be, touring students? Are they supposed to be mutants?
As far as I can tell, they're just kids from school, because she couldn't show her mutant powers around them.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so you have. Well, that's right, because they're just students from another company.
Telling me the school that these kids are from don't know that Professor Charles Xavier is a mutant, a very powerful mutant, a mutant that
on television.
The building that this land is on is continually attacked by rogue mutants. They destroyed the town earlier this year, because remember, this whole series took place in just a little over a year.
Yeah,
they destroyed the town when Colossus was here at the beginning of the year, and Juggernaut.
Yeah,
it's actually Juggernaut who was blowing everything up. But the mansion was destroyed a year ago. This is not a place for kids. Unless they're mutants and have nowhere else to go.
Yeah. But obviously they're not mutants, because they're stuck in this stupid cave.
Also, Wolverine and Cyclops, and I'm assuming Professor Xavier. Oh yeah, Professor Xavier was at the end of this episode too. They sure got back from their meeting with the president pretty fast, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Because they just left 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So granted, I admit it's probably a time jump, a little bit.
From New York to Washington, it's not a very long flight.
Well, I'm saying there's probably, like, when they showed the part of them leaving, that was probably earlier in the day.
Yes.
This is obviously later in the day. So maybe they were already on their way back.
Mm-hmm.
They never said this, but I'm assuming. And it didn't take them long to find from above ground where they were, because they were using this tracker and Jubilee's palm top. I can't call it a phone.
No,
before they were cell phones.
Yeah,
tricorder would be closer.
Palm
to
Pilot.
This. Palm Pilot. I don't know what this was. They just said it was a communications device of some kind.
Yes,
or handheld computer. And I'm sitting there going, couldn't you have said, "Hey, emergency! Come save these kids"? But we're trapped in a cave. The water's rising. To quote Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, "We are going to die."
But no, Jubilee has to tell her really
put the tracker on and hope they go, "Huh, Jubilee's tracker's on. I wonder if she's in trouble right now." Huh.
Hello.
At least the animation was slightly better in this than the last one.
A little bit.
And they did have to, part of that, they did have to actually like come up with new character models for the fantasy versions, especially of Wolverine.
Oh my gosh,
Wolverine. I love Wolverine. Of course, my first thought when I saw him was like, "Oh, Wolverine's an orc," because I'm more used to seeing orcs in that color scheme than trolls.
Yeah, fair.
But that's not what it was. It's
yeah,
Trollverine. Best name I can come up for the guy right now.
Yeah, Trollverine.
And I'm thinking, you're telling the story because she's finishing the story in front of Cyclops and Jean Grey. Jean Grey, I think, is in that shot. Before she finishes the story.
Yeah. In the front of the school, right?
Yeah, in front of the school.
Yeah.
She's finishing the story for the kids, and it's like Cyclops and Jean Grey right there, and you're obviously brought them into this because you already mentioned they were the prince and princess of this, or king and queen of this kingdom. And
oh my gosh,
you use this voice for Jean Grey?
Oh my gosh!
It's like, she was the Black Queen. She has a royal voice that you could have used for this. Was this even the actual normal actress for Jean Grey because it almost didn't sound like
It
her.
didn't sound like
sounded
her at
someone
all.
was talking in falsetto voice like she's a unicorn. I'm sorry, this is my unicorn voice. We all know this. And they're doing something that's like, oh, we'll make you a princess. But of course, you're going to have to learn how to do all this other stuff.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
I'm going to escape. It's like, Jubilee, that's probably how you're in the position you're in because you didn't do your freaking job. You've
Oh
gotten
my
yourself in
gosh.
so much trouble because you're a little whiny brat. You are a little whiny brat. But there's a reason why the comic book creators, when they had to come up with a use for your character, they shoved it in the background until Halloween decided that you were going to get turned into a vampire by Count Dracula. As far as I know, she's still a vampire mutant.
Oh my gosh. I read that somewhere. I was like, wait a minute, they turned her into a vampire?
They had to do something with her because she was created for this show. They had to bring it into the comics, and none of the writers at the time knew what to do with her. And so she kind of was just in the background of stuff, showed up every once in a while, and then probably was an X-Force for all I freaking know. Or the New Mutants. New Mutants was probably more closer to what she was because she would still be on Xavier's team. I don't know. I'm guessing here. This is the 90s.
Yeah,
Rob
but
Liefeld would not have known how to draw her with any amount of respect anyway.
Gosh. You know, he's still doing stuff, right?
I'm aware.
He just homaged his own
But here's the cool thing about Rob Liefeld. As much as I hate his art, he is perfectly willing to accept the mockery he gets for it and plays into it because it's like, yeah, this is what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
So kudos to you, Rob Liefeld,
Yes.
for being a good sport.
Oh my gosh.
But none of the writers knew what to do with her, so it's like, oh, we'll just turn her into a vampire. Okay. I assume she still is. So anyway, that's what I want to happen in X-Men 97. There needs to be a Halloween episode where she gets caught by Dracula, and for a short amount of time, she is under his spell. Doesn't fully get turned into a vampire because you need it for the next episode. But do it, Disney. Have Jubilee nearly get turned into a vampire. I will pay. I'm already paying you money. Give me what I want. Do we have anything else before we finish?
Oh
this?
my gosh. I just want to say from the chat, Heather, I think at this point, I'd rather be watching X-Men Evolution at this point.
We knew when
With
we
this
got to
episode.
this season that it was going to get pretty bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to get, should have been on Mystery Science Theater 3000 bad.
Oh my gosh. But like, you know, going back to where the beginning, well, kind of the beginning, where Jubilee is like, oh, we got to watch the kids and be like, obviously they're, you know, like the rest of the team's leaving. And it's like, oh my word. It's like the professor's animation. It's like there again. It's like the gameplay from those old Zelda games.
They're cutscenes.
Cutscenes.
It's not gameplay. The gameplay is
Worse.
But
oh my gosh,
it
that's
is
so terrible.
It is the first draft of that animation of those cutscenes.
Oh my gosh, because like his face is all over the place, and like he's talking and going into frame, going out of frame.
It's like,
the whole it's like, what the crap?
This
Is he having a Tourette seizure?
You're the only one who gets to make that joke.
Exactly.
Anyway, next week, along with Tales from Earthsea, guys, we only have 4 episodes of X-Men the Animated Series left before our special review of Pride of the X-Men.
Yay!
And that is next week. We've got Old Soldiers and Hidden Agendas. Which, now that we know Gambit is being voiced by someone who doesn't know what a Cajun accent sounds like,
he's speaking French.
that's actually what I'm wondering, since he was playing a rogue in this
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I thought. It was just more like he's just a French character.
Our thief is like, you just played him French. He's supposed to be Cajun. You can still have him be Cajun. You should have still kept him Cajun.
Either or.
But yeah, join us next week for that. You got anything before we cut out of here?
Oh, I need a palate cleanser.
Well, after this, I've got you covered.
Thanks.
Join us next time for those things. But in the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day.
I try.
His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron.
And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen.
His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cel Cast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cel Cast Gaming.
On YouTube at Cel Cast.
On Twitter at cast_cel. The Cel Cast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecelcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cel Cast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cel, with a single L.
Mustache.
I think I'm gonna be sick. Yeah.
All right, that's the end of the show. See if I can find
Oh
our
my
Twitch
gosh.
people somebody to raid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for putting up on our
Shenanigans.
shenanigans. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Bobo. Happy Mickey Unicorn
Yes.
voice. Yes.
Yes. Happy Mickey Unicorn to you too, Bobo. Or would that be Mickey Corn?
Mickey Corn.
Me.
Mm-hmm. Oh my.
Yeah, I'm gonna send y'all over to Bucky Gaming
Go for it.
since he pays us. Doesn't pay us for this. He just nice and donates money to us, so we thank him for that. But yeah, I'm gonna send y'all over there. Y'all go tell him have a good. Say hi to him.